Hi, and welcome back to the BEnergyAware podcast. This is the episode where we name our top 5 episodes for this year. Episode number 5 to episode number 1. As usual, I'm going to announce them one by one, and you'll get a chance to have another listen. Okay, so number 5 is how to work with energy. Maybe you've heard the term working with energy. So what does it mean? If you meditate, then you probably already know what it means. And for anyone who's new to this, let me explain. One thing is to recognize what energy our emotions and our thoughts carry. And another thing is to consciously change that energy. In my audiobook, Get Empowered, written and read by me, I guide you step by step through how to do this. What I'll say here is that the most important thing is intention. Please listen closely because most people right now in 2023 still do not understand that it's really that simple. It seems too easy to be true. So here it goes. Intention is used as a tool to change our energy. It's like operating a device and pressing the on button. For example, when you consciously set the intention to change the energy of your thoughts, you're in fact pressing the on switch and the device will do what you tell it to do. The biggest thing about it is that we need to remember to do it not only when we need to, but also regularly as a part of our daily energetic maintenance. And so how does it benefit us? As we all know, we can get overwhelmed with emotion and tend to sometimes overthink things, and our mind can get clouded. By doing the daily energetic maintenance, our mind becomes clear and the unpleasant emotions get lifted and we feel much lighter, and it becomes easier for us to keep steady, especially in the face of challenges. So the short answer to the question, how do we work with energy, is by using intention. There's much more to learn here, of course, but this is a good start and a main tool. Number 4 is why you shouldn't seek approval. We've all grown up with authority figures all around us. When someone is above you, especially when it's someone you love, admire, or appreciate, or even someone you fear, you tend to learn to need their approval for things. And then later in life, it can transpose itself to the relationships you have with other people and can be reflected in other ways too. So some of us are still actively and consciously seeking approval when it comes to quite a few things in our life. And for some of us, this is an unconscious thing that we're still doing. And many times, we might not be seeking it, but actually needing it. It can be at those times when we need to make a decision around something and we somehow lack the decisiveness. We are uncertain and unsure because it's as if we need the approval of a certain authority figure to make that decision and to do that thing, whatever that thing may be. What we need to say to ourselves is that, first of all, we have the right to make our own decisions, and we are the only ones that need to approve of them. We are the ones who give ourselves the permission to do just about anything. And yes, I understand that there can be tricky situations where we do need to ask for permission when it comes to things that directly concern other people, of course. That can be, for example, in our work environment. And yes, it is good to be considerate to our friends, co-workers, and people that are close to us. But really, when it comes to our own life and the decisions we need to make for ourselves, there is really no one above us to answer to or to get approval from. And sometimes we can forget that. Sometimes we get caught in a memory from the past, and for a moment, we become that child who needed someone's approval for something. We have the right and the responsibility of making our own decisions. We are the ones to give ourselves permission and approval when needed. Number 3 is how to avoid self-beating. We all know what it's like to beat ourselves up. If you happen to be an exception, then you are very, very lucky. Throughout our lives, many times we get beat up by others, so we really do not have to do it to ourselves on top of that. Decisions have to be made, noticing our thoughts and our actions, taking notes, and then creating good habits, which means creating a habit of cheering ourselves on, encouraging ourselves, and celebrating ourselves every day of the year for the rest of our lives is something that wouldn't give us much room for putting ourselves down. But what is at the root of self-beating? Why do we go there? Most likely, we've learned it growing up from our parents, our grandparents, relatives, friends, and our surroundings. And if we were not taught how to love ourselves and encourage ourselves, that makes it even easier for us to go there and keep doing it over and over again. So what's needed here? Where do we start? By making the decision to always be kind and loving and gentle with ourselves. I know this sounds more like 3 decisions than 1, but it's pretty much the same thing. And then, if we catch ourselves doing the opposite of that, we reach for love and kindness, and we remember what that feels like. And then from that feeling, we go back to self-nourishment. It may take some practice, but with some persistence and a little bit of patience, we will prevail. Next one is number 2, titled, How to Be Authentic. Let's hear it one more time. Authenticity. What does it mean to be authentic? To be authentic means to be true to yourself and your own values, regardless of any external influences or circumstances. We might meet people with various percentages of authenticity, but to be fully authentic, it takes a real strength of character. Outer circumstances try to mold us and bend us, and they challenge us to the point of ultimately testing our strength and our determination to live a life that is aligned with our own values. Knowing ourselves and knowing our values is one thing, and then to go through many trying times is something totally different. Whether we'll be making choices and taking actions that are actually true to us or not remains to be seen. Compromises are very common, and sometimes it does make sense to do them, but once they become a habit, we can really get lost and lose all sense of ourselves, and can then struggle to find ourselves again. So how to be authentic and stay authentic? For that, we need to, number 1, have a good relationship with ourselves. Number 2, be clear on what our values are. Number 3, make decisions based on our intuition. Number 4, take consistent daily action to consciously create the life we want. Think of it as creating some good new habits. They take effort at first, but later they become second nature. Once we start taking actions that are aligned with our values, all we need is to continue doing the same until it all brings the results that we want. And by then, without even thinking about it, we will be authentic. And the last episode in our top 5 countdown of 2023 is number 1, titled, How to Consciously Create. This one really seems to be the most important episode of 2023. Let's have a good listen once again. Creating consciously. This is how it works. The more we release the heavy energy that's weighing on us, the more the good energy can come to us. Heavy feelings and emotions that are provoked by triggering situations, if handled with skill and awareness, get lifted off of us and then lessen over time. We make space for the new good things to come forward, and then it's up to us to focus on them so that we can make them our everyday reality. It's good to ask ourselves, what energy would I love to have more of? And think of all the things we would love to do and have, and focus on the energy they bring. That is, the feeling that they give us. We need to keep ourselves in the feeling of that reality. like we're already there. The biggest challenge here is to not let our current situation and circumstances get in the way of that. We're not supposed to think about where we are now. Instead, we need to be thinking about where we want to be. And like I said, we need to keep ourselves in the feeling of that desired reality, which means that we need to keep away from comparing our current situation with where we want to be, because that might pull us down. So this is what truly is the hardest thing to do. The best way to stay focused, the right way, is to fill our life with the things that we love doing. And what's equally important is to appreciate all the things in our current reality that we do not like, and to see how they are helping us create the reality we want. And the last, and also very important thing to keep in mind, is to move forward in a manageable way. Small steps, one step at a time, doing only as much as we can handle at any given point. So the steps when it comes to consciously creating are: number 1, releasing heavy feelings and emotions. Number 2, visualizing and also feeling the desired future, which means keeping ourselves there mentally and emotionally. Number 3, filling our life with the things we love doing and appreciating them, while also appreciating everything else. And number 4, small steps moving forward, thinking long term, doing only as much as we can handle on a weekly or monthly basis. This concludes our top 5 countdown of 2023. Thanks again so much for listening. As always, feel free to get in touch with your questions, thoughts, and suggestions. Message me on Instagram at BEnergyAware or leave a comment. You can also get in touch through our website, BEnergyAware.com. And leaving a review on Apple Podcasts is always so much appreciated, as well as sharing this podcast with your friends. And if you're looking to live a truly empowered life, then get my audiobook, Get Empowered, or sign up for my mentorship. Thanks again for tuning in, wishing you a happy new year, and I'll talk to you soon.